You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 337 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Sean, and with me once again is Brother Robin.
Hello, Brother Sean.
Hello, Brother Robin.
How are you?
Better than you.
I think everybody's better than me right now.
Oh, boy.
I digress.
But, so 2 weeks ago, it was 2 weeks
2 weeks.
that we last spoke on the air here.
Yes.
And we talked about your life and how depressed you are and stuff.
No, we didn't talk about how depressed I was.
That's right, we didn't, because you're not depressed.
That's right, I'm not depressed.
Exactly.
Just pissed off.
Yes.
Not depressed, just pissed off.
Okay, with life.
Yes.
But today we're going to talk about something more fun.
Yeah.
Comic books.
Comic books, I fucking love comic books.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes. So I thought, you know what, for this episode of Soul Forge, let's do something fun.
Yeah, let's talk about something fun and exciting and, well, that's it.
And I don't know anyone more fun than you.
Oh, I'm the funnest guy around, bud.
Yes, you are. Yes. So I don't really have a plan for this episode.
We're just winging it?
We're just winging it.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me about comic books, what they are, when you discovered them, and why you like them so much.
Well, historically speaking, comics go back, way back.
Way back?
Way back.
How far back?
Like 1930s, 1940s, in that era.
Right, because
And
what
they
was
were
it?
they were just basically little cartoons and funny magazines back in the day.
Right.
They were sold at newsstands and the like.
The like. Okay.
They weren't famous at the time. They were kind of laughed about because they were for kids.
Right, and wasn't Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman some of the first characters?
Superman was. Batman is a very old character as well. He's gone through some drastic changes since his inception. Captain America being also one of the OGs.
The old guys?
The old guys, or
Yeah.
the original gangsters, if you will.
Right. Is that what OG stands for?
I think so.
Original gangster?
Original gangster.
I always thought it was old guys.
Old guys? No.
Okay.
Original gangster.
Well, see, that's how not with the times I am. I did not look that up on Urban Dictionary.
No.
I just assumed it was old guys.
No, not old
But
guys.
original gangsta.
I mean, it could work for you if you want to be an OG. You could be an old guy.
Well, I'm getting there.
You're getting there. Almost 50.
Oh,
Just
hey.
recently had a birthday. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you're getting up there, pal.
I'm only 48.
Only 48. Yeah.
Not quite 50
Not
yet.
quite 50. I said almost. You're
Oh,
getting there. You're
yeah.
climbing closer than I am to it.
It's pretty scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Anyways.
Didn't Bill Finger create Batman?
There was Bill Finger and... it was another guy. But yeah.
Bill and the other guy.
Bill and the other guy. I can't think of his name right now.
And wasn't a Canadian involved in the creation of Superman?
Yeah, correct. Joe Shyster, I believe is his name.
Schuster.
Shyster
is a person who...
Oh, right. He's an old mob. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Shyster there from the mob.
Speaking of OGs there.
Speaking of OGs, yeah.
Yeah, Schuster and the other guy.
Yes, and the other guy who I also can't remember his name right now, and we didn't look anything up because we're winging the hell out of it, but I kind of know what I'm talking about. Yes, created by a Canadian. He could leap tall buildings in a single bound and all that good stuff.
All the good stuff.
And did you know that Marvel Comics, before they became Marvel Comics, they were called Timely Comics?
Timely Comics.
Yes.
I did not know this.
I'm sure there was another name before that too, but Timely was one of the bigger ones.
And wasn't Wonder Woman created by some kind of sex pervert?
Probably, but I don't know for sure.
You don't know for sure.
I haven't dug into the Wonder Woman lore very much.
You haven't?
No.
Even with Gal Gadot?
Even with Gal Gadot.
Okay.
She makes it look good.
She does. She
But-
does. So when did you discover comic books?
Oh, well, I discovered comics when I was a young boy. I don't remember how young, but probably around. I mean, we had access to the, your Archies and stuff like that. But growing up, it wasn't. There wasn't a lot of comics served
In our household?
in our household. It became more or less of an Easter present tradition when I was a kid. That Mom would start getting me comics, and they were mostly Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles, but yeah, she started gifting me some really, I still have them too, and there was Spider-Man and Green Goblin and whatnot, and that's really how it started, was with a few of those comics, plus the cartoons of the 90s, and just kind of gravitating towards all of that. And then, yeah, I don't know, I just kept getting comics until I was...
This age?
No, not this age. And then I think that lasted until I was about a teenager, and then my Easter present became WrestleMania instead.
Oh, yes.
So...
Your other love.
My other love.
Right. Okay. Well, for me, I didn't read comic books. I don't even remember Mom getting you comics for Easter or anything. But I do remember having dinghy cars, and one of them was it was like a van or something, and if you looked in the back, you could see the Hulk inside of it.
Neat.
And one of my first memories is playing with a Corgi Batmobile with the Batboat and a trailer.
Oh, the Batboat.
Yes. And I don't know whatever happened to that little toy. It was my favorite, and then it disappeared somehow.
I remember the Batman action figures that we used to have and we used to play with.
Yes.
We had a few of those. And then, of course, the action figures that I would also get would be in part of Spider-Man, X-Men.
That's true, because in the 90s, we watched the heck out of those shows.
Yeah.
And that's where I know my comic book lore from, like X-Men 93 and Iron Man Adventures,
Right.
Armored Adventure, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
All the Spider-Mans. And of course, then watching the reruns from the 60s, Spider-Man and Iron Man and all that stuff.
Yeah. So these characters, they've been around a long, long, long time. They've gone through a lot of changes over the years, and there's lots of different versions, but typically the Marvel 616 main universe has been my favorite. That's basically what I've been sticking to.
Okay, explain what that means, 616.
616 is their main line of stories.
Okay.
So they have Marvel Ultimates, which is a different set of stories, a different set of characters. Same characters, but just a different universe.
So like a different timeline.
Different timeline, essentially.
Alternate reality.
Alternate realities, and comics will do that constantly. So comics can be confusing.
A little
That
bit.
is the straight up answer. And if anybody is to ever ask you, well, how do I get started reading comics? Where would I begin? Because you could go back all the way to 1945 if you really want. Good luck finding any copies or issues from that still exist in good shape. But if you have yourself a Superman #1, you're a friggin' millionaire.
Well, actually, that's Action Comics.
Action Comics, yes. Mm-hmm. But still.
But the first appearance of Superman.
First appearance of...
That's worth some coin, as they say.
As would be Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man.
Is that right?
That's right.
Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's good to know. But you know what else is good to know?
This promo.
For another podcast right here on
The ESO Network.
Here, I had ChatGPT write the new Flopcast promo.
Okay. Narrator. The Flopcast is making waves in the comedy world. Join hosts Jenny and Kevin as they dive into pop culture from retro TV to comic books. With their quirky banter and infectious laughter, the Flopcast will have you laughing out loud and reminiscing. Tune in every week for fun, friendship, and fond memories.
Who the heck is Jenny?
And we're back. How was that for a promo?
That was a fantastic promo.
Wasn't it just lovely?
It was so good.
It was. So, do you have any valuable comic books?
Not overly valuable, not quite to that degree, but I do have a few that have some value to it. A really cool one that I have, and I love the story behind this, is when I was also younger, I was gifted, I can't remember exactly where they came from. I think it was Mom that gave them or bought them for me, but she bought me some Ninja Turtle comics. Ooh. Because, I don't know if you know this, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started out as a comic book.
I do know this.
In 1984.
That is also true.
Created by Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman.
And they all had red bandanas.
They all had red bandanas, correct.
Heroes in a half shell.
So those tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those first that first run, that's where it all came from. It was a little bit more violent than any of the cartoons would ever depict, but of course, the cartoon was made to sell toys, so and sell toys they did.
Oh, and
we had a ton of them.
We certainly did, and too bad we didn't leave them all in the package.
Oh, I keep kicking myself in the butt every month, saying something of that effect. But with that, so Ninja Turtles #1 and Ninja Turtles issue #4, there was a screw-up during printing.
Not a screw-up.
And there was a screw-up. And issue #4 has the exact same cover as issue #1.
Oh.
And for the longest time, I still have them, but I would be looking at my collection and I'd be like, that's so weird. Why is one issue 1 with that cover and why is this one issue 4 with the same cover? I looked into it quite a few years ago. Turns out it was an error, and they actually destroyed a ton of those issues that had the misprint.
Of issue #4.
Of issue #4. I think there's only a few thousand, maybe 10,000. I think it's about 10,000, if not less, that only exist.
And you have one.
And I have one.
And what is that worth?
Not a lot. A few $100.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, but
well, that's pretty cool.
I'm hoping that it might go up in the future and just hang on to it. And
until it does, then you can buy your private island.
Exactly.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And there's a lot of issues that are worth something, or they're important story plot wise, etc., etc. Right. There's a ton of X-Men comics that are like that. For sure.
The New Mutants #98, where the first introduction of Deadpool.
Yeah,
I think it's 98.
I think it's 98, but yeah,
that's 5 years ago. That was worth like $700.
Yeah.
So, and now with the recent movie, who knows what it's worth?
Exactly. And so that was actually one thing I started doing, was looking into comics that I could collect that haven't become movies or TV shows yet.
Oh, so you're investing in the future.
Investing in the future. Unfortunately, I was too late, but Invincible #1, it was for sale here not long ago, but for $1,000 or $1,200 or something it's going for now.
Ouch. And you could have bought it for, what, pennies?
Well, if I knew about it at the time, sure, but I didn't, so I missed out on that.
Oh, man.
But I like to collect a lot of variant covers. I like to collect #1s.
Yes, I got into that for a short time as well.
I have quite a few of #1s or first appearances. Also, for some reason, I have this weird... I wouldn't call it an obsession, but it's like this... I'm collecting issues that all have weddings on the front. Like the wedding issue covers of comics. I have a Batman, Catwoman. I've got...
Superman, Wonder Woman?
No, I don't have Superman, Wonder Woman. I have a Deadpool wedding anniversary, or Deadpool wedding issue. I have... what's their faces? The X-Men. Scott Summers and Jean Grey. There might be a couple of more, but...
So that's a thing that you're into?
That's a thing that I'm into. It has nothing to do with the wedding itself. I just find that they're good collector items.
Oh, it's a subset,
yes.
A sub-issue, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So with the rise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, how did that make you feel?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Even though the characters on screen might not look like how you saw them in the...
It's not identical to the comics, no.
And is that okay?
And you're going to find people that hate that and don't like that or do love it or whatever. And for its purpose, it's pretty spot on.
Okay.
But there are a lot of differences,
Yep.
little differences. Now, if you've never read the comics and watching the MCU, it won't bother you.
Right.
Whereas if you are a fan of the comics and you've been collecting or reading for a long time and you watch, there are certain things that are going to bug you. I mean, the Avengers, initially, in the comics, were Iron Man, Thor. They didn't get Captain America right away, but there was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
And they were a part of the initial Avengers team. But in the MCU, they didn't come along until Ant-Man.
Right.
So, and I mean, with rights and issues and characters, obviously they couldn't do these things right from the start.
Right,
So
'cause
they
there
had
was-
to tell their own stories.
Naturally, because they almost went bankrupt in the 90s.
That's right.
And they had to sell off a bunch of characters. That's why the X-Men were owned by Fox.
Yeah.
And Sony had Spider-Man and all that kind of good stuff.
Correct. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, though, it doesn't bother me. I enjoy the movies very much. I know what the story essentially is going to entail.
Right.
But what they do in the movies is they take a little bit of that, like we discussed, the 616
Yeah.
main universe with your characters, whatever. But they also use a lot of the stories from the Ultimate version of them as well.
Uh-huh.
So there's a mixture. And I never read a lot of the Ultimate stuff, but I kind of have an idea of what was going on. One of my favorite comic arcs of all time is the original Secret Wars that took place in the 80s.
Okay.
There's a Secret Wars 2 that happened as well, but also the Civil War storyline that happened in 2006, and it was adapted into Captain America Civil War.
Right. Okay.
A fantastic story. Fantastic. I just loved it. And it's all your characters coming together. It's the big teams, But I also love those more character-driven stories too. Iron Man, Demon in a Bottle, where
That's famous.
that's famous. I love the Spider-Man, the Venom, all of that. Venom was created out of the Secret Wars storyline. Technically, that's where he got the suit. And then I believe it was Todd McFarlane that came along and who was doing Spider-Man and wanted to put him back into the red and blue and out of the black suit, and then that's where he created Venom.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. And what do you think of the Venom movies? they're not the best, are they?
Not the best, not bad, but the second one there with Carnage could have benefited a lot more if it was rated R.
Right, of course.
But it is what it is. So.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, am I a fan of every movie that comes out that's a comic book movie? No.
No, you can't, because some of them are trash.
Some of them are awful. Catwoman, for example.
Well, that's a famously bad one.
Famously bad one, yeah.
Even Iron Man 2 was not the best.
Iron Man 2 was okay, but Iron Man 3 wasn't. But you watch it back now and you're like, is it that bad? It's not that bad. It's not that great either. But...
See, for a time, I couldn't tell if I liked Iron Man 1 or 3 better.
Really?
Yeah, but Iron Man 1 is still my favorite of the entire MCU. It's the best. Iron Man is my favorite comic book character, and has been since the 90s, since I watched the cartoon.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Who is your favorite character? Is that a tough one?
It is tough because I've got a few. I've got a few favorites. Spider-Man.
Yep, that's right up there.
That's right up there. Venom. Black Cat. Deadpool. Lobo. Who's from DC Comics.
I was just going to say, I haven't noticed a lot of DC on your list.
No, I like Batman, but he's never been my favorite ultimate whatever, despite all the Batmaning parading around that I've done. X-Men, I've always liked the X-Men. Gambit, Rogue, Miss Marvel. But Green Goblin was another. I loved Green Goblin. I think he's a fantastic villain.
Okay.
But Spider-Man, if I had to choose, Spider-Man would probably go to number 1.
Very nice.
And I don't know what it is about that character that is so good. But when Stan Lee created him, he created a character that has problems, that has issues. He's a teenager that's his own superhero, when he was told teenagers are only supposed to be sidekicks and they're not supposed to have problems.
Right.
And he went against the grain for that, and he made one of the greatest characters of all time.
And he's super relatable because he doesn't have any money.
Exactly. No money, always broke.
Yes. Relationship troubles.
Relationship problems out the yin-yang, and all the adversity that he faces, he still just keeps on going.
And he's a happy guy.
As happy as he can be.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, mostly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a fantastic character, and you can't beat that.
You can't beat that. There you go. All right. Well, that has been a good, fun conversation about comic books.
It's been fantastic.
It has been fantastic. And I just wanted to wrap up the show with a little bit of feedback.
Oh, feedback, my favorite.
I know you love feedback. Mm-hmm. And this is for episode 335. Where we talked all about your issues.
Oh, the trucks. The trucking.
Yeah, what the truck, yes. That was
the truck.
That was the name of the episode.
Everyone these days could use a little support, and your friends at the ESO Network are no different. With the ESO Network Patreon, the cool thing is when you help support us, it's you who will benefit. With 4 tiers starting for as little as 25 cents a week, you can listen to some of your favorite network podcasts early, hear exclusive content, maybe get some ESO swag, or even possibly take a shot at the geek seat. All you need to do is sign up at patreon.com/ESO Network.
So this is from our good buddy Bill Lamont.
Oh, Bill Lamont.
All right. And
I'm looking forward to hearing this, Bill.
I thought you might be. So subject line, I don't think Robin is ready.
Oh, shocker. We're starting right off with that. Positivity right off the hop.
Here we go. Hi, Sean. I've been listening to your latest Robin episode on Soulforge a little at a time. I just heard Robin say he took his birthday off from work. I noticed he didn't say he requested a week or two in advance for that day off.
Actually, listen here, Bill. I requested my birthday off well in advance, and it was approved.
Okay, that's good to know. So he didn't know that, and because you didn't mention it. He says, that's not ADD, that's boneheaded. Which...
What, do you think I just woke up on my birthday morning and said I'm not going into work today?
No. So he works for a wonderful nonprofit that really goes to bat for him. I would never think of just taking a day off because I felt I had it coming to me. I ask at least 2 weeks in advance because that's what they've asked us to do. And you did that too, but you just didn't mention it. So
sorry, I didn't give you my full itinerary, but
as you should have.
As I should have, yes. Clearly.
Okay. He says that just got changed to a month in advance when possible, so I will change my actions accordingly.
Oh, good. I hope you do.
I've won awards for my cartooning and have shown I can work on deadline. The only reason I'm trying to make a living as a cartoonist is that with my disabilities, I've been unable to get a decent chance from one employer after another, which you've also had trouble with one employer after another.
Oh, I certainly have.
He says, I've been reading a book about the economics of comics, both book and strip. The author asks a riddle. What's the difference between a comic book creator and a medium pizza? Do you know the answer to that?
No.
The answer is a medium pizza can feed a family of 4.
Real knee slapper.
There you go. Robin needs a more practical plan. Is he capable of coming up with one? Has he at least tried approaching the government jobs people again? He has evidence that he really tried to pass the driving test and that he is currently only barely employable. Your government has an interest in turning him into a taxpayer, not a tax user. I hope Robin can get his life together. He's depressing as he is. Stay safe, Bill. How do you feel about that? Are you depressing? Because I'm laughing. Because you are always smiling and you're always in good spirits.
Despite the BS and the crap that I have to go through, and sure, is some of it my own fault? Absolutely, I won't deny that. But despite all the trials and tribulations and crap that I'm served,
yes,
I remain a pretty positive guy.
You do.
With a more positive outlook than most people would ever have at this point.
It's true.
I've always said that. If it wasn't for my sense of humor, I would be dead by now.
You're very inspiring.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I don't know. It's just if something bad or dark goes down, I make a joke and I move on. I have to, because I can't just stay in the darkness. I have to find the light and shine, because otherwise, what happens?
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
All right. And on that cheery note, I think that is where we will end the show for this week.
I think so.
All right. So thanks for guesting again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Dear listeners, hope you take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, go listen to and download and subscribe to my new podcast, Have Coffee, Will Travel. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Soul Forge podcast. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope you'll tune in again next time. Remember that you can visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links, and don't forget to share the show with everyone you know. The Soul Forge podcast is your best source for living your best life.
Think about it.
Welcome to the Have Coffee, Will Travel podcast. Are you ready to embark on a journey filled with laughter, adventure, and insightful conversations? Join Sean and Leah as they dive into the exciting world of travel, family life, pop culture, and everything in between. Here's what you can expect from each episode. Sean, a lifelong Star Trek fan with over a decade of podcasting experience.
Leah, a Disney enthusiast, actress, and nurse who brings her unique perspective to the table. Some topics we cover include travel tips and experiences,
family dynamics and stories,
pop culture insights,
cooking adventures,
and thrifting finds.
Every episode will be a new adventure.
Our mission is simple: to share advice, life lessons, and entertainment that resonates with you. Whether you're commuting, relaxing at home, or planning your next trip, we're here to keep you company. You can find us on all major podcast platforms and YouTube.
So grab your coffee and get ready to join us
for some fun-filled discussions.
The Have Coffee, Will Travel podcast.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.